Welcome to the Eric T conversation. I'm Eric T. Now, we have to talk about something very important. I didn't want to have to do this, but somebody has to do this. And it might as well be me because I'm new and I got a big mouth. This whole elf on the shelf thing, we got to be done with it. It's been going on far too long. At some point, you're like, okay, it worked, it's great. But now this is like 20 years later, 25 years later, and we're still doing the elf. Now, I have been victim of elf on the shelf. I have. I haven't had to do it for about 12 years. But I was caught in the elf on the shelf loop for 11 years. Sucked. Because my kids were little when that thing came up. When that lady stitched one together and put it on social media, and then all of a sudden it blew up, and now everybody has to buy a $20 elf on the shelf and come up with new creative ways to make that guy in another spot in the morning before your kids wake up. It's the most stressful time of the year if you have children and you introduce them to the elf on the shelf. Time. Got to get rid of them. So here's the deal. When you get an elf on the shelf, everybody has one. And if you don't have children with an elf on the shelf, you have absolutely been partook in part of the scam of setting him up in a different area. You've been with your friend's house, the kids are sleeping, and your friend goes, oh my God, I have to do the elf on the shelf. And you're like, well, let's come up with some ideas. And if you're that guy, you've been there one time and you helped one time set up the elf on the shelf, try doing it for 30 days straight. It is a stress no parent enjoys. We can't wait till January 1st. We can put that son of a bitch back in the box. December 1st to January, he's out and open. You got to come up with ideas. You got to zip line him from the ceiling fan all the way down to the Christmas tree. You got to put him on the couch with a remote control like he was watching TV all night. Hang him out by the dog's bowl. Sit on the counter with some hot chocolate and some marshmallows. The kids are like, oh my God, how did he get the marshmallows? You got to sit him on like a little toilet, like he's pooping marshmallows, and then he's got a buddy, Joey, and he's posting all his cool stuff that his elf is doing. And your kid comes to you and is like, hey mom, Joey's elf is hanging out with strippers, doing blow on the crack of their butts. How come my elf doesn't hang out with strippers and do blow? I'm like, well, because yours is a Christian elf, and Christian elves don't do that kind of stuff. And then you got to come up with all kinds of new stuff for 30 single days. And God forbid you go out drinking on a Saturday night. You stumble home, pass out in bed, and you wake up at 3 a.m. like you're having a heart attack. Oh my God, I forgot to move the elf. You're nudging your spouse or whoever. Go get the elf. You got to move it. I don't want to move the elf. We'll wake up. And if you don't get up in time, and the kids wake up first, and the elf isn't moved, they know. And they run to your bedroom like, Mom, Dad, the elf didn't move. And you got to be quick on your feet. You get up and you're like, all right, who touched him? I not it. Somebody touched him, because the only way he doesn't move is if somebody touched him. So somebody touched that elf on the shelf, and that's why he didn't move. And they're like, the siblings are arguing with each other. I didn't touch him. You didn't touch him. He didn't touch him. And then you got to like, listen, time out. Somebody touched this guy, because Steve will move if he hasn't been touched. So obviously he's been manhandled. And the kid's like, oh man. And then you look at your husband and wife, and you're like, whew, we got away with that one. We got away with that one. So it's a time of the year. It's supposed to be joyful, Christmas and Santa and Jesus and all that great stuff. And no, not if you got kids and you introduce the elf on the shelf. There are Instagram pages, Facebook pages dedicated to this son of a bitch. The elf on the shelf, he has his own Facebook page. He has a wardrobe. People are dressing him differently every day. People are putting new hats on him. Now he has a girlfriend or something. There was like another one that got introduced a couple of years ago. So now you got two of them. And then there are some families that bring an elf on a shelf for each kid. What are you, crazy? There's a limit of creativity you can come up with an elf on a shelf. Now you've got three, one for each one of your kids. You're a glutton for punishment. It's unnecessary. So look, the clothes got to go. The clothes have got to go, because everybody's just trying to make more money on it. And then more parents just get involved. I'll tell you what I did, and you're welcome to this idea. When I had enough of the elf on the shelf, one year, about 11 years ago, is when I cut it off. I said, Daddy likes to drink, and sometimes Daddy forgets to set up the elf. And you know what? And when Daddy's had a couple of old fashions, last thing he wants to do is get on a chair at 2 a.m, hanging up strings for a zip line out of a helicopter for the elf on the shelf. So I came up with the idea. You're welcome to use it. So what I did was I wrote a little letter, and December 1st, I hung it on a tree. And when the kids woke up, they're like, oh, look, it's from the elf on the shelf. And I opened the letter, and my middle daughter read it. It says, Dear kids, hi, this is Elf on the Shelf. I've had a lot of real stressful off season. I need a vacation. Headed to Hawaii. Love you, Elf on the Shelf. A couple weeks later, I go get a postcard from Hawaii because you can find one at any Walmart from Hawaii. I go get a postcard from Hawaii, mail it to the house. Comes in the mail. Kids look at it. My daughter reads it again. Hi, kids. Elf on the Shelf. Hawaii has been great for me. I'm never coming back. Done. Elf on the Shelf. 86 out of my house. And that was it. I haven't seen them since. So you're welcome to have this idea. You're welcome to use it. The Elf on the Shelf. We got to spin it down. I haven't done it in a long time, but I see you parents and I see you online coming up with ideas. And they're great. The ideas, the memes that this thing has created are priceless. You got the junk in the box. You got them hanging out with strippers. You got them, pooping little Hershey kisses. The memes are great. And the memes are always going to be there. But you don't have to subject yourself to that. It's unnecessary at this point in time in our lives. People just aren't making enough money. People can't find jobs. And then you got to go 30 days coming up with new novel ways of having an elf on the shelf do cool things, because you can't be that parent. You can't be that parent just puts them on the couch, moves them to the sink, and you moves them to the other chair, and you hang them on a tree. And those are the lazy days. The lazy days, you come home, you're like, oh, crap. Oh, we're going to stick them on the tree, put them up there. And then I have some of these people that do it all year round. You do the elf on the shelf all year round. You dress them in Valentine's gear. You dress them in St. Patrick's Day gear, Easter gear. Stop. Put them away. Don't introduce them anymore. We got to spin this thing down. This is a multi-billion-dollar elf on the shelf operation that has to stop. And I'm calling it right now. Elf on the shelf, gotta go. Anyway, today is a little chit-chat, some observation, and some conversation put together. But I had to put this one out on a Saturday. This is an emergency situation. I keep seeing all these stressful parents out there on Facebook and on Instagram just trying to come up with new ideas. In my generation, a lot of these parents are now grandparents, and they know. They don't even touch that son of a bitch anymore. Like, hey, I want nothing to do with that elf on the shelf. So I hope you enjoyed this one. If you have friends with elves on the shelf, please comment. Let me know what kind of things you've done. Please post some pictures. Don't forget to subscribe, like us, follow us on all the platforms. And I appreciate all the love you guys have been giving me. And join us next time for some chit-chat, some observation, and some good old-fashioned conversation. Thanks.